We're taking a look at the blues progression, and when we use the word progression, it means to progress harmonically from one place to the next. And the more elegantly and interestingly we can do that, the better. In order to accomplish that, what we do is increase the number of transitions that we have from chord to chord, if you like. And today we're going to, for the first time, add a cycle in the 12-bar blues. But before I do that, I'm just going to quickly review the basic blues progression and the additions in movement that we've made thus far. The most basic 12-bar blues of all, and I'm going to be in the key of A again. Most basic 12-bar blues is I'll take the tempo up a little bit so we can get through it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So this is 4 measures, 2 measures, 2 measures, 1 measure, 1 measure, turnaround. That's the most basic 12-bar blues form of all. As a matter of fact, you can even get more basic and not do the turnaround at measure 12, which you've heard as well. And then from there, we've gone to the 4 chord at measure 2 with a split turnaround at the end, meaning we're going from 1 to 4, 1 to 5, right? At the end. Each of those chords a half measure each. So I'll play that for you as well. This is just a little bit more interesting and a little bit more movement. 1, 2, 3, 4. At measure 2, we have D7 already, right? And then measure 5, measure 6, measure 7, measure 8, measure 9, measure 10, split. 2, right, and so on. You get the idea. So just a little bit more movement. No additional chords there at all. Just that added movement to the 4 chord and that added turnaround. Now, when I say turnaround, by the way, that means just getting back to the beginning. Turning around back to the top, right? Because the 12-bar blues is just the same thing, the same 12-bar form over and over and over again. Now let's take a look at the augmented 4 diminished chord. I'll slow that down a little bit this time. So we go 1, 4, 1, and at measure 5, D7, augmented. Right, you heard that movement from the D7 to the D sharp 7, and really returns to the back to the 1 chord, and I would encourage you to invert the diminished chord, because to invert a diminished chord, all you do is move it 3 frets, and this is an especially nice movement from D7, D diminished, and back to the 1. Okay. So now what I want to add to this is a turnaround once we get to that point, and this is a turnaround that I'm sure that you've heard many times before. So using the augmented 4 diminished, but this time we're going to add a couple of new chords to the overall 12-bar progression. Here we go. 1, 4, 1, 4, diminished, back to the 1, F sharp 7, the 6-7 chord, B7, and E7, and our turnaround, split turnaround. We're back to the same place again, right? Okay, good. So let's just talk about where that happened, at what measure, and then we'll isolate those measures. So, and then look at what we did. All right, so A7, 1, 2, 3, 4, D7, back to A7, measure 4, measure 5, measure 6 with the diminished, measure 7, measure 8. Measure 8, F sharp 7. Measure 9, B7. Measure 10, E7. Measure 11, A7, halfway through the measure, D7. Measure 12, A7, halfway through the measure, E7. All right. So at measure 8, we walk our way down to the F sharp 7 chord. Right. And then the F sharp 7 moves up to the B7. And the B7 cycles its way to the E7. And then we have that split turnaround. So I'm going to play that whole progression for you with the augmented 4 diminished 7th as well. As well as the cycle. And here we go, 2, 3, 4. 4 chord, 1 chord, augmented 4 diminished, B7, E7, 1, 4, 1, and 5. Let's do that again. Back to our 1. Here we go to our diminish. Walking down. B7, E7, and our split turnaround. And then we're back at the top. So that is a slightly more interesting 12-bar blues. Right now we're just looking at that in one key, being the key of A. I think it would be a great exercise for you to move that just up 1 semitone to the key of B flat. The reason for the choice of B flat is that it's an incredibly common key if you ever play with a horn player. B flat is a happy horn key, and so do exactly that same chord progression, moving the entire thing up a semitone as well, using the cycle and the augmented 4 diminished chord.